How do you see it being, you know, the institutionalization of this stuff, you know, as the courts become more involved in it? I mean, do you see a risk that they can injure it, do it harm?
Well, let me use my interpretation of institutionalization. I think that when mediation started, mediation didn't belong to anybody, it belonged to the people. And for any of us to say that we own a piece of it is wrong because it belongs to all of us. However, what I have seen recently is this concept of institutionalization. And you have to remember how mediation started. It created, it flowed. It was created because there was no boundaries put to it. It was something that was new and exciting, and when it's new and exciting, great things happen.
Yeah.
Institutionalization is the opposite of that. Institutionalization actually thwarts creativity.
Okay.
It does not permit creativity to happen because it wants everything the same way each time. And so what could happen in some of these institutions is the amount of creativity that you would want out of those institutions could not happen because it squashes creativity. There's your boundaries.
Well, you know, but before you were saying that the certification is a useful piece, a useful
Right.
tool. It seems like the certification is a manifestation of that institutionalizing process.
I agree.
Where do you run a risk then of mediocratizing it or making it so uniform as to what we think are the basic skills? How do you separate that
Yep.
from what you've talked about, which is the right style of
Yep.
mediation?
Yep. What they did specifically, and it was also AFM did the same thing, they ensured that any kind of certification would be on a volunteer basis only, and they would not touch any of those people who did not want to volunteer to do it, to allow for that creativity. It's no different than going to university and later on being certified or as a lawyer or a psychologist or whatever. Those people over there in universities can do many creative things, but they're not in any way a part of a regulatory body.
Mm-hmm.
So regulation and certification does, in a sense, squash creativity because they want everything to be relatively the same. We call that standardization, some kind of level of boundaries. But to ensure there still could be some creativity, they've left the rest alone.